Hello guys, now we are going to see the some activities in BigQuery. We are going to see how to use BigQuery using JSON values array and structure in BigQuery. For that, we will create one data set. Okay, this is a sample data set. Using this data set, we are going to export JSON value and array value. Okay, we will see now using one query. Here we are get array values. Just we run here. So we have a list of values in array. Again we will run one more query here. We will get error. What's the reason? Because here we are adding string and number. In the existing query we add only string. So what is the reason of error is the array must be same data type. It must be string or it all must be integer. If the data type will be mixed, it will give error. Now we will get some data from public data set. We are getting person, fruit array and total cost from this is a public data set fruit store. See, this is a person, raspberry and to the cursor it bring the array in this format. Now we can see the data in JSON format also. So now in the we starting of the video we create the data set. Now we are going to create one table. We have some object in Google Cloud Storage. We will keep table name as fruit details and we will get the file, this file from the Google storage. After that we will enable this auto detect. From the file it will automatically detect and create the table. Create the table now. Once we create it, we can see. So now we see the fruit details table. Once we will see the schema how it's created. Schema it creates as a slash float. It's for type as string and mode as repeated mode. Because this is an array format, right? So it shows as repeated mode. The preview, yeah, as we see in the JSON value, it shows like this. Now we are going to create our own array using array aggregation. Okay, this is the sample query. So we are going to create own array using data from e-commerce and the session. Run now. Once we run now, we have this data loaded here. In the loaded value, we see for same date and code, we have the repeated product name and title. So we are going to use array aggregation to create the array value. So this is the sample query. So we are going to use array aggregation to create the array value. Just we run this. Once we run this query, see, as I said, for visitor ID is will be single, date single, and it will become as array and loaded in this format. We can see the JSON value also here. It's very nice to look in BigQuery. Before we did the aggregate keyword, we have 111 records. Now we have only two records. See here, right? Only we have two records. Now we are going to use array length to find how many products available here. So here we are going to use array length. After run this one, we will see what will happen. We'll run again. See, it shows this informations. It's get the aggregation and length. It shows how many product we have and how many views. It shows clear based on the array aggregation, and based on the array length we see the result value. Now we see all the records. So now we are going to see avoid the duplicate and see how many the products are visited without duplications. So here length and do all things, we we will use a distinct product. Here we use distinct product because before we without distinct we use it bring all the product name. Now we are make the bring the product name as distinct and check the aggregation and length. So this is the value. Before it shows 101, I think, right? Now it shows only 61. We count the product based on after get the distinct product. 61. So we find the distinct pages and distinct product. Okay. So what we see is just see now before from the starting of the videos, we find number of element with using array length, and we for to avoid the duplication of the element we use distinct and aggregate. Then we use ordered by keyword to get the order values by order and aggregation, and we can use limit for. So we see now how to create the array value based on the repeated record in BigQuery. Now we are going to see how to get the value from the array, make as one by one row format. Okay, it's further we will use unnest function to remove the array value. So this is the way we are going to use unnest to remove the array value and make in row format. When you run this one, it shows I like this format to avoid the array. We are going to use the public data set to review the data to use structure keyboard. So we will use uh, so we can see now we get the public data. We have a list of public data available. In this one, we are going to use Google Analytics data. Where is that Google Analytics? See, this is the Google Analytics sample we have. We are going to use this one. Now we are going to use structure in BigQuery. Okay, what is the structure? Structure means we can keep a number of field in one common name. For example, here, this we are going to use structure, this name, and this field and this field we keep as a common field runner. So when we run this, see in the field, this is a name and this is a name. The same field, two field in the under the same name, same field name. For this purpose, we are using structure. We can use array format also in the structure. Like this, we can use. Now we will see how to inject the JSON value. For that, we will create one data set as racing, create data set, and we will create one table inside the racing data set as get data from Google storage. We will keep the name as racing result and get the data from data studio. Okay, after that, what we can do, we can now before we did auto schema, right? Now we will set the schema as text format, edit as text format. when we put text, we have this schema type, name is string, type is string, this like this. In this we have always structure like one in under one field we have multiple fields. Okay, like this we are going to see now. The when we add or then we create the table. Stop is creating. So table also created. We'll see now how we created. Here this is the one race as one string, and others all comes under one main field. So it type as record and repeated because it's a null like an array value, right? So it's repeated, and inside form feed value mention as string and float. Now we will try to get data from this creator data set. We'll add one new tab, and this is the racing data set and then table name. We will run now what the data is available there. So as we say, this is the one row and plot in the we keep the data as structure format, right? So the participant name as Rudisha and split into like this format. It's very nice to work in the BigQuery for analytics also. Very good. So we see now. Now we need to we try some other query to get the data. This is the table, and we have the participant. We need to get participant name. It shows error as expect end of the input, but got identifier error. So what the when we run this query, we get this error. So what they are expecting end of the input, but got identify participant because this is like a field inside this table. So for to avoid this error, we need to use a cross function. Even though this is inside as one field inside this table, it's like another table. Okay, so we need to use cross function. I think this will also make error. So table body must be the qualify with the data set. So it shows again error because it it not identifier where this table come from. We know this is the like a field inside this table. So we need to mention this also. So we need to mention race result dot this one. When you run this one, now it will bring data like row format. Before we have the race only one value, others will be empty. This is the way they will come. Now it fill this value and come as a row data. We can change this query in different format using alias. Like we have this um, table, right? We have this query, right? So with this value we can with this table we can make aliases or then make comma or dot participant. This is the without cross joint we can do like this, comma, then with this alias or dot participant. When you do like this, it will bring the values here, same values here. Can use both cross joint and using alias we can connect with this table. We actually, this is a field inside the table, so we can get the result like this. In the existing data set, we need to see how many racer were participant. Okay, we need to count the name. So for that, we are trying to get the name from the participant. But sure, it will not bring because we are not mentioned the participant column here as cross join or alias format. So we use this query like this. We will count the name as racer count using this as alias or and r dot participant. Because why we can make this as also alias and make use for the count. We make this unrest because it will bring as row format. So we get racer count as 8. So we can use unrest to bring the values from the array. So this will not so this one and value name and sum of split time as total from raising and is possible and split. Yes, it will be in the array format there in the BigQuery table. So we make the unrest and bring this value. Okay. We see one more query. Inside racing table we have participant. Inside participant we have the split. Based on these three fields we are going to split the value. We are going to get the name and split time. Okay. For that we are getting this is the data set and the table name as or. Okay. From this or because it's the array, so we make a sunrest unnest and array n dot participant table. We keep this as a p as alias. After a nest we keep a p dot split. When you split, take this one as a split time. So here we are going to take only split equal to 33.2. We run this. This bring only this specific record. So we can use the query like this. In one single table we keep the table values using structure. Inside the table itself we can keep the common field to keep multiple fields and make a field like a table and bring the values and show for analytics. It's very easy to get the data and show use for our analytic purpose. Okay, we can use this new way of warehousing data for our analytic purpose. Okay, thank you.